UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Up All Night with Dotun Adebayo.
A 3D erotic comedy has taken the Hong Kong box office by storm, overtaking Hollywood blockbuster Avatar on takings. The success of Sex and Zen, Extreme Ecstasy, has been boosted by viewers travelling from mainland China where it's not being screened. Well, Vivienne is senior culture reporter for the South China Morning Post. Vivienne, what's all the fuss about this film? Why is it so successful?
I think it's because erotica has a long history in Hong Kong cinema, and for the past 10 years there hasn't been any erotic movies that have been made. And so because this time, after so many years, and you have this because this one is pretty much like a remake of the cult classic from the early 1990s. So people, of course, they're very curious of how it's going to be like. And of course, because it's billed as the first 3D erotica, then of course that has added value. So people just want to see, okay, what it's like to watch all those love scenes on the big screen wearing those glasses.
And how far are people travelling to see it?
As far as I'm concerned, I know that there are travel agencies in Guangdong that are putting together these one-day package tour.
To see the film?
Yes, to see the film.
How far in distance is that?
Guangdong, it's not that far. It's about like a couple hours drive from Hong Kong to Guangdong, but still you're going to cross the border, you have to go through immigration and stuff.
All of this just to see a bit of erotica?
I think going to see the movie is part of one of the items of their agenda, I suppose. But I know that I've spoken to the travel agents. They put together these tours. They basically include a pre-booked movie ticket and the day return coach. So I think they just come along and watch the film and maybe go shopping for a bit and then they go back home.
Is pornography to a certain extent banned? Well, of course it is, because it's illegal even in most countries. But what I was thinking, because I heard a story that the authorities in mainland China were so strict that there was a story about a couple who were watching a pornographic or erotic film within the confines of their own private home, and they were arrested as a result of that. Am I right?
Well, for that I'm not too sure, but if you're talking about cinema releases, because China, I mean, unlike many other countries, China does not have a film classification system. So in any case, that means that any film that's being made and for theatrical releases, they have to be made that's suitable for anyone aged between 3 and 80. And we all know that's practically impossible unless it's a children's movie or. So that's why if you have movies that have adult content, of course that's not going to be shown in China. That's why.
You were on, I understand that you were on the set as the film was being made. What was that experience like?
It was surprisingly professional. Because I think first of all, because I haven't. It was my first time of being on a movie set for a 3D production. So I could see that all the cinematographers, the director, and all the lighting people, they are all trying really hard to make sure that everything is done right, because it's so much more complicated if you shoot a film in 3D compared to shooting it in just an ordinary film.
Yeah.
So they work together.
Look, it's very nice of you to tell me about the technical aspects, but when I was asking Vivienne about what the experience was like. I was thinking more about the dramatic content.
I wasn't shown the sex scenes.
Right.
So I didn't get to see the nudity, but I did get around to see the actors getting ready for some of the scenes.
And then was it a closed set afterwards then? Was it a closed set? Did they usher all the people who didn't need to be there off set whilst the action took?
Yeah.
Right. But you've seen the film subsequently, haven't you? You've seen it at the cinema.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
That's interesting because personally I enjoyed it because I honestly I had zero expectation. So when I was in the cinema and it was an industry screening, so I was surrounded by people who were like buyers from all over the world, and the atmosphere was great, and everybody was having a good time and just laughing like non-stop. I mean, even though there's some violent scenes, and there's so much like Cantonese slangs, which I think is one of the best things about the movie. I think everybody really enjoyed it. But then after the film's released, that's the interesting part. We have a lot of the so-called post-80s young people, those who were born after 1980. They're complaining about the lack of sex in the film.
They would, wouldn't they? You know what those youngsters are like. Vivienne, it's been good speaking to you. I'll try and sort out some of those youngsters at some point or other. Vivienne Chow, Senior Culture Reporter for the South China Morning Post.